Welcome back, everyone, to GGN. This is part 4 for today. It's the final part, for sure, for Wednesday, August 21st, 2013. I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.net. On YouTube, my channels are ddarko2012, ddarko2013. Just and a quick side note on the first video that I posted, I had some issues with that. Basically trying to upload it, get it encoded, and upload it to Screencast. They rejected it the first time. That I did it again, did it successfully. Then I uploaded it to YouTube, and they actually rejected it. Gave me no reason whatsoever. Just said, boom, F you, we're rejecting it. So I uploaded it again, and usually when they do that, they play those games. I'll just upload maybe 5 of the same file until eventually it uploads. And so far, I think it's going successfully, but has something to do with that chemical attack. Who knows? Or maybe Israeli expansion agenda. But either way, check that video out because I don't know. Today I'm just kind of fired up. So I'm sorry if I offend some people, viewers, subscribers, and stuff like that. But you know, it's like they say in this world. I guess you have to have some thick skin and stuff like that. I don't hate you. It's just that I hate the agenda that's being carried out against us. So. The LGBT community to march in support of gay whistleblower Bradley Manning at a Pride parade across the country. This was Sunday, June the 30th, but the point is that the Bradley Manning was transgender or gay. Now all of a sudden, I covered this before. I didn't really stress it, but another YouTuber, I'll just say Morris, I don't agree with everything he says, but he made a good point, which is, these whistleblowers are gay. So here it goes. They hand us these, he's attached to this Snowden case, this Glenn Greenwald, NSA journalist. So, they give us these people that are, quote, heroes, and in some way they are, but they're kind of telling us the obvious, what people should already know. Skeptical Americans, but our heroes now are gay. So see, it's just like it infiltrates everywhere to really slam it home as the new normal. Because Morris is making a good point about the fracking in the UK, and he was just talking about these homosexual activists running around naked, and it's just like that's wherever it is. It's just like now that's wherever you go and you see stuff like that, whether Occupy, you're always going to see that movement going. And he tends to think that he wonders if it's actually being infiltrated by psychological operation people. But either way, redefining marriage an arrogant act of cultural vandalism, says New Zealand family leader. So more than 30 same-sex couples have married over the last 24 hours as New Zealand's Defensive Marriage Amendment Act has come into effect. So despite little debate and strong opposition, politicians chose to pass the Marriage Amendment Bill 77 to 44. Marriage now lawfully means the union of two people regardless of their sex orientation or gender identity. So some lesbians said that it was an amazing day to be here to celebrate the couple's commitment they have to one another and institution of marriage, but others say that the new law defies the national mood and common sense. It says despite their grandeur view, the politicians never had the authority to redefine marriage. Says the National Director of Family First. They committed an arrogant act of cultural vandalism with no clear public mandate. So some people actually wrote a comment in there, and I know they're not trolls, and I know they're independent thinking people, and they're like, well, Darko, why do you cover these things, whether it's race or homosexuality, and well, just for me personally, that's my own torch that I'm carrying. It's just the gay agenda, transgender agenda, and the white guilt agenda. I have my own biases for that. I'm not going to say that I don't. But they say, well, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's a distraction. We're all humans. Let's unite. Well, my answer is no, I think this is very relevant. They say just give it up, and it's irrelevant. Well, I think it is irrelevant. My argument is that our society has been culturally destroyed. Our society has been completely engineered and our culture destroyed. There is no resistance because whatever resistance that there has been completely destroyed. So society isn't able to come together because we have nothing to come together with. Despite all of the nice utopian ideas of we're all humans, It's just not happening. And when you do get some kind of resistance, it's never grassroots, and if it is, it's co-opted from the top down, and then of course it's co-opted at the, with the homosexual activists running around naked. So that's what you get. I think it's very relevant. A Tennessee church bans family after daughters win same-sex benefits from town. After 60 years of attending a Tennessee church, a family in Collinsdale has been exiled because they supported their daughter while she fought for same-sex benefits from the town where she worked as a police detective. But that victory turned out to be bittersweet because the leaders at the Church of Christ, it says here, gave Kat Cooper's mother, aunt, and uncle an ultimatum during a private meeting after worship services. They said that they could repent for their sins and ask for forgiveness in front of the congregation or leave the church. They said literally they're exiling members for unconditionally loving their children and even extending family members. They said here, the church said that something had to be done because the family was publicly endorsing homosexuality by supporting their daughter. I hate to say this, I don't agree with the whole using Christianity as a way to be against this stuff. Like, I don't ever bring that up. You know what I mean? Some people may agree with me on these stances, and they hash out a bunch of Bible quotes. I don't think that's the way to reach people. I just think it's a minority issue, and it's being overrepresented, and I think it's being used to subvert our culture. And these people, if they're going to do it behind closed doors, that's fine. But when they do it and they put it out in the open, like they're doing in Russia, and boycotting and getting people to be more focused on homosexual rights instead of their governments bombing people because they're homogeneous and because they're sovereign nations that haven't been subverted yet. I mean, you should be more pissed off at that, about their rights. You should be more pissed off at people who have been trampled by banks. So the church has every right to throw them out. And as far as promoting it, they are kind of basically promoting it. And back in the day, if your kid was to do something like this, you basically would say, well, you're not my kid anymore. And that seems kind of harsh, and in a way it kind of is. But if you're not helping society by being politically correct, saying, oh, we love you, you're so great, and you're so PC. We don't agree with it, and you could have been bisexual first. You could have kind of went either way. You didn't have to say, well, I hate my own sex, right? Because that's what I think it's about, too. It's fashionable, right? Just like this, New Zealand, it's fashionable. That's why the politicians do it, even though the people in the national mood isn't with that. It was funny, too, because last night I was, after I watched that Public Enemy movie, I was, thinking of prison breaks and how hard it really is to do today. It's just almost impossible. The biggest thing you see is some meth head or whatever just hitting up a 7-Eleven or a gas station for a few $100. Of course, that's because of the Federal Reserve, the authorities, the law enforcement, revenue collectors that protect that monetary system, and so they've made it really hard to mess with that. And I thought of this stupid-ass show, Prison Break, and it said here, Wentworth Miller comes out as gay, refuses invitation to the Russian Film Festival. So he was invited, but he says he could not in good conscience attend an event in a place that would promote such discrimination. Thank you for your kind invitation. As someone who's enjoyed visiting Russia in the past and can also claim a degree of Russian ancestry, it would make me happy to say yes. But he says here, however, as a gay man, I must decline. So some of the comments, damn it, him too. So why are people still coming out? We don't care anymore. So see, it's so normal now. Like with Jodie Foster, they made fun out of her for coming out that one time at the awards. The D.Dynasty star blasts abortion culture. What in the world happened to us? So here's a little explanation of basically a visual explanation of what it is. And it says, and we debate whether it's someone's right to tear you out of there a piece at a time. Come on, you have a God-given right to live in all of us and all the places inside your mother. What in the world is happening to us? So I saw a lot of them been promoting this show, D.Dynasty, so who knows if they'll be around for another season after this. See, they have a platform, and then and now they're using it for something like that, kind of like Jenny McCarthy with the anti-vaccine stuff. So who knows if we'll see them for next season. Master Sergeant files lawsuit against Air Force claiming religious discrimination. So he said he's fighting back against the Air Force claiming he was discriminated because of his religious beliefs. Well, religious beliefs, again, why do you have to use the religious beliefs as a proxy? They even do that for vaccines. You see what I mean? So, I mean, it's just a legality. Why can't you just be like, I don't want vaccines because they're poison. I'm not for homosexuality because, well, that's just the way I was raised and that's the way I'm going to go. I'm not for abortion because I think it really is not just tissue. I think it's a living entity that you're murdering. So, it sounds kind of harsh, but you don't have to bring religion into it all the time, because what happens when they crush, in the future, they may crush whatever the religious people have as far as their beliefs and stuff like that. I think that's coming, according to Albert Pike. And when they do that, people are going to be lost. And so that's when you have to just stick with what's inside, what you think is right. So he says here, when I wouldn't agree to my commander's viewpoint on a religious matter, I was relieved and stripped of my position. Talking about could he agree with the verbal statement expressing religious or moral opposition to same-sex marriage was discrimination, he answered he did not agree that it was discrimination. He says people of faith don't have a place in the Air Force anymore, and that's the message that the commanding officer sent him. It isn't just about me, this is for all airmen. Russians launched dedicated center to fight atheist extremism. A group of activists connected with the Russian Orthodox Church are setting up a center against atheist extremism, which, according to them, is promoted mainly by foreign-sponsored organizations. And they're right. They are, right? Like USA, that's why they banned them. It's called political subversion. It's happening in our country, too. The atheist extremism is currently rearing its head. It is sponsored by various funds and NGOs with roots outside Russian borders, says the statement. This is what they get. Xenophobia on the rise ahead of Moscow polls, says rights leaders. This is from the Today. Several human rights campaigners have warned of rising xenophobia, saying Moscow's mayoral elections are being stained by visceral hatred of immigrants. Remember, like in the Olympics, they were actually shouting, Russia, go Russia. So there's some national pride going on over there. The only way out of this is a civil war. Swedish women don headscarves after assault on Muslims. Swedish women have been posting photos of themselves in traditional Muslim headscarves in solidarity with women attacked apparently for wearing a veil. So this sucks because, their leaders will not stop this. They will not stop the subversion of their culture and of their people, i.e. their race. And they're going to keep the floodgates open. So stuff like this will happen. People will lead to violence. The poor woman was pregnant during the attack. So they tore off her hijab and hit her head against the car on Saturday. But the Swedes, I hate to say it, being part Swedish myself, is that they've really latched on to this agenda. These guys are protesting not being able to wear shorts, say men in skirts. Swedish train workers ditch pants and heat wave. I mean, it's understandable, but there's a big feminizing of men agenda going on. This kind of fits into it, just kind of the masculizing women. In France, a French teen attacked for wearing Muslim veil. They said when two European-looking men confronted her. So if the immigration thing, I'm not condoning this, but if the agenda continues with all white areas, white nations, or white, like mostly just basically Europe. I already went on about United States. They don't really have much to stand on, but Europe itself, there will be no European. What the hell would European-looking men look like in the future? Well, they won't exist. Switzerland may start DNA test on African asylum seekers suspected of lying about family connections. And of course, Switzerland is among the European countries that welcomes the most asylum seekers in proportion to its populations. In recent years, it's soared. I saw this from another YouTuber. Critics slam Australia's Papua New Guinea asylum plan. So Papua New Guinea's government will receive generous aid payments, and the person made an interesting point, which is there's still indigenous populations there, so it's going to wipe them out, right? They got the tents set up and everything, and what's going to happen? They're not going to leave. The ACLU says Muslims face more scrutiny for citizenship. They say they blacklist Muslims and has delayed application for thousands of legal U.S. residents for years. What about the family? That's what commenters said. How about defending the family's rights? Well, they wrote The Rights of Families, the authoritative ACLU guide to the rights of family members today. And look at how they said it. At an early time in this country's history, courts and society in general had a clear, if narrow, conception of how family was formed. Talking about men and women married. divorce was uncommon. But what now with the family being destroyed, right? Now with in vitro fertilization eugenics, well, it's written by a Jew, of course, but same-sex couples seek to strengthen families by expanding adoption rights in North Carolina. See, the ACLU's protecting family rights. Remember a Tunisian activist? She quit the topless protest group Femin, calling the group anti-Islamic. Well, why is that? Femin is financed by Jews. That's right. And they happen to be very anti-Muslim. Thank you.